it. Starting them off. I'm sitting in the house, I'm loading up the pump. I'm loading up the Uzi. I got a couple M16s, a couple 9s. I got a couple joints with some silencers on. I'm just loading up clips, a couple grenades. Got a missile launcher with a couple, missiles. I'm ready for war.
Acting a fool on Swac'N the fool. Yeah. That's how we do on Swac'N the fool. Yeah.
Serving the news, giving all the tea.
Yeah. It's real live in this WAC. Yeah. Acting a fool on Swac'N the fool. Yeah. That's how we do on Swac'N the fool.
Yeah. Serving the news, giving all the tea.
Yeah. It's real live in this WAC. Yeah. A straight fool, yeah, you know how we act. Yeah. Real news coming straight from the swag. Every week giving y'all the tea. Yeah, John and G. Tell your peeps tune into the real. Then the news ain't real. Sit back, chillin', let's get cool. It's time to watch that Swac'N the fool.
And we officially here. Another episode, another week. We got J-Max, we got GSPN, we got Al. So grab your shakers, grab your jerseys, grab your towels. Shout out to Dylan the Crazy Man on the track. We got Joe on the track. Hey, Jackson State, Grambling State, Alcorn State, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Prairie View A&M, Mississippi Valley, Texas, Southern Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman. And don't think I ain't forget. We won't. I say, go. Shout out to the mighty Jaguars, man. We back. Swac'N the fool. We still swacking and acting. We swacking and we acting, yeah. So.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Al from Swac'N the Fool. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back with another Swag Baseball recap. I know everybody been asking me, where have I been? I needed my team to win a weekend series first. Then I said I was gonna do another baseball show. So that happened this weekend. So I'm here, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Man, the first 2 weeks of Swag Baseball it's been different than what I thought it was. We got some teams that's been whooping some behind. We got some teams that's been struggling too. So man, we still got a long season, but it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happened down the stretch at toward the end of the season. But since we missed 2 weeks, I'll go back. We can look at the Swag Baseball honors from last 2 weeks ago. So we got hit of the week, Cam Buford from Grambling. This was the weekend series against Southern. He went 7 for 14 with 6 RBI, 2 doubles, and a triple. Where they beat Southern in a 3-game series, I think 2-1. Then they also beat Wiley that week also. Cam Buford was one of my favorite players going into this year. I think he is a senior from Chicago area. Man, tall, long, rangy, shortstop. I think he may play some third base this year too. But man, Grambling has been on a tear also in SWAC play. So man, look out for them at the end of the season to be in the hunt for that SWAC championship. Then we got the pitcher of the week from last week, Hunter Veets, who I think was a pitcher of the year preseason pitcher of the year. He had a win against Mississippi Valley State. Pitched 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 5 hits. Man, FAMU, I definitely probably think is the number 1 team in the SWAC right now because they definitely causing hell within the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Let's see. So for this past week, we got Jamichael Bastardo from FAMU. Like I said, FAMU, they tearing up behinds around here. He had 8 runs to go along with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs in their series against Alabama A&M. He was batting .545, which is just amazing with an on-base percentage of .643. So man, shout out to him. Shout out to the whole FAMU squad, man. I knew they were gonna be one of the top teams, but I definitely didn't think the top team. So, like I said earlier, watch out for them at the end of the season. I definitely think they'll be in the hunt for the SWAC championship. And then we got Nolan Santos from Bethune-Cookman. He got his 3rd win of the season with a complete game against Mississippi Valley. while on the mound, allowed only one earned run on 4 hits with 11 strikeouts. Anytime you get 10 plus strikeouts in the game, man, you did your job. So Bethune Cookman is probably the second best team in the SWAC right now. I haven't seen them play on TV or in person yet, but I have been keeping up, with box scores and who they've been playing. So right now, man, if you ask me, it'll be FAMU and BCU in the SWAC championship game. But y'all know how the SWAC tournament goes. It goes different ways. You never know what might happen. You might find like a Valley or Alabama A&M that might come out of nowhere. You just never know. So let's take a look at these SWAC standings. Oh man. So here the SWAC standings currently up to date. We look at the East first. Like I said, FAMU tearing up everybody 6-0 in conference play. Um, I don't see too many people beating them right now. Um, besides Bethune, maybe Alabama State might get a game or two from them. Second in line, Bethune Cookman at 5-1. Like I said, they tearing up too. I know they got a bunch of pitchers down there in Daytona, and Bethune Cookman has always been historically good in baseball. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I don't know who it was. They beat Florida or Miami, one of those teams, and they took them down to the wire. So historically, Bethune Cookman is gonna come in the SWAC and change things up, especially with this being their first year playing SWAC baseball. Then we got Alabama State, who I thought would be number one on the east side. They kind of in the middle of the pack right now. Like I said, it's still early in the season though, so the way baseball is a funny game. You never know which way it could go. And after that, Alabama A&M, who shown some promise this year. I think they might eventually get over the hump. In the middle of the pack, Coach Jones, I think is doing a good job over there. I want to say they got swept this past week. But the series before that, they won. So we could see some promise out of Alabama A&M. Then Jackson State 1-5. Kind of what I expected from Jackson State. Didn't expect Jackson State to do too much over there on the east side. Valley, kind of the same thing. We saw a little light from Valley that first weekend at Minute Maid Park, but haven't seen too many flashes from Valley since then. Now on the west side, PV been hotter than fish grease. At 6-0, they looking like the top team over there on that side. Now we'll see come this week. They did play Alcorn one of those weeks, and I think, as you can see, Alcorn is last place, and I think everybody just taking turns with Alcorn State baseball right now. So you take that how you wanna. I'm gonna pray for G because he being optimistic. For Alcorn State baseball, but we'll see. The beast from the east. Who's the Alabama State? The middle of the pack beast right now. We got Grambling. Like I said, Grambling, they tearing butt up, beat Southern in the series. And I think they played Alcorn too this past weekend. So man, I think Grambling's got a lot of good hitters. Like I said earlier, Cameron Buford, one of their good hitters. Keelan Mack, who's a big, strong, powerful left-handed hitter for Grambling, and just absolutely tears the cover off the ball. And I want to say Grambling's got a guy who's throwing upper 90s on that team. I'm gonna have to confirm that, but it looked like Grambling got a few pitches they can have for them to go deep into the SWAC tournament. So we'll see coming May. Then we got Southern, who I picked to be number one on the west side. We are at the middle of the pack right now after losing a series with Grambling and then beating Texas Southern in a series this past weekend. We are at the middle of the pack. I think SU having a few struggles right now. Some pitching and then some untimely hitting. Southern is always a person who you need to look out to be in the SWAC tournament or SWAC championship game. And it's just because it's Southern, just because of the pedigree and the history. I think they had the pieces to put together. I think they have the pieces on the team to be a big contender for the SWAC championship and ultimately go on to the regional. They just need to put those pieces together and figure out which pieces work for them. I know they kind of changing up their pitching rotation on the weekends. Still going with Jalen Long on Fridays, and then I think they switched it up on Saturdays with the midweek guy Harris going on Saturday this past weekend against Texas Southern. However, I think Harris might allow 5 or 6 runs in the third inning, and Southern ended up losing that game. But I like Harris. He had some good flashes from this season. But if he can put his stuff together and put those pieces together, man, it could be a funny little swag tournament coming up in May. Then we got Texas Southern. They just got off a series with Southern. Um, Texas Southern pitching was pretty decent. It wasn't the same pitching they had in the first weekend at Minute Maid Park. I think they made some changes to their rotation too, and so they had some solid pitching. They I think that was they gave up a 7-run, 8-run ninth inning comeback from Southern this past weekend um in on Friday. So you definitely gotta have pitching. You gotta have pitching to play in the SWAC, and you gotta play every inning. You can't let off, and which I think Texas Southern did in that last inning. They let Southern come back and beat them. So yeah, and then you got the bottom two, Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State. I mean, Alcorn State 1-18 right now for the season. I don't even remember who they beat, but y'all just play for G and Alcorn. Like G don't even talk about baseball anymore. He just talk about Alcorn and their spring football team. So um, y'all just keep praying for G, and you know, hopefully they can show up for him and win a few games for him, so they can be optimistic for next season. Let's see, pull up these scores. Then we go back to last weekend. On Friday, Pine Bluff lost to Prairie View 13-1, Southern 11-9. That was when Southern came back on Texas Southern. Last week, Alabama State beat Jackson State 9-2. Alabama A&M 0-16. That's a beatdown for a Friday night. Usually, if some of you don't watch baseball, usually on Fridays is your best pitcher. So typically you have low scoring games on a Friday night. And as the weekend goes by, like on Saturday and then Sunday, you'll see more points scored because you tend to have your weaker pitchers pitch as the weekend goes by. Then we got on Saturday we had Alcorn losing Grambling 20-3. That's a football score. A&M lose to FAMU again 13-3. Arkansas Pine Bluff losing to PV. Southern, I think they lost to Texas Southern on Saturday, so I think their scores are on Southwestern Athletic Conference. And they got to get things information up to date. Alabama State beat Jackson State. Alcorn losing to Grambling and Valley losing to Bethune-Cookman, which is closer than I thought. Then on Sunday we got Bethune-Cookman beating Valley, Alabama State beating Jackson State, Alcorn beating Grambling. Grambling beating Alcorn. FAMU beating A&M, Prairie View beating Pine Bluff, and then Southern beating Texas Southern 13-2. So this week's matchups, who we got? So we got Alabama State in the series with Alabama A&M. I think Alabama State should get this win. Like I said, A&M got a little spark in them. You never know. We go see this weekend coming up. Then we got Valley against Jackson State. That's gonna be the battle of the bottom feeders over there in the East. I'm gonna go for Valley right now, and hoping they win that series. Since I think everybody was getting hyped for Valley at the beginning of the season, so I'm gonna root for them right now on this one. We got Grambling against Pine Bluff. I think Grambling should take this series pretty easy. PV against TSU. Battle of 290 and Third Ward. It'll be close. I think that's a rivalry weekend. It's in Third Ward, so you never know what might happen. But PP should take that series. Then we got Alcorn going to Baton Rouge. That should be a sweep for Southern, like 3-0. Then we got probably the best series of the weekend: FAMU versus Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach. Probably the two best teams in the SWAC right now, going head to head this weekend. So I don't even want to pick, but I'm gonna go with the home team, Bethune-Cookman. Um, I don't think they're gonna win on Friday because Hunter Beats, he a dog at pitching for FAMU, so I think they'll get that win. But after that, it'll be up in the air, and I got Bethune-Cookman on there. Um, I just can't wait to the SWAC tournament. SWAC tournament is at Georgia Tech this year in Atlanta, and I'm sure it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be active. I'm sure the Southwestern Athletic Conference gonna put on a good product for us coming up in May. So yeah, that's our week 2 and week 1 recap. I ain't go over the week 1 scores, but yeah, y'all, we got a bunch of interviews coming up. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all subscribe to our page to see what interviews we got coming up. Myself, J Max, we all go get on. We go do a show. We got a lot of spring games coming up too, so we gonna have to do some review shows. Who's the best team in your opinion? FAMU by far. They 6-0 right now in the conference, and they just beating the hell out of everybody easily. And I saw them play against Southern in the Wesley Barrow, not the Wesley, Andre Dawson Classic in New Orleans, and man, they all around. They got hitters, they got pitchers, they got defense. You know, they got everything. They got coaches too. So um, we starting to see the benefits and effect that the FAMU and Bethune-Cookman coming to the SWAC is having on us right now. And I knew this would happen in baseball because I knew both. Well, I knew Bethune-Cookman for sure historically had a good baseball program, but FAMU, they were pretty decent in the past couple of years, but they starting to, you know, get at their peak too. So, but yeah, like I said, make sure y'all subscribe. We got a lot of interviews. We got spring games coming up. We got baseball still going on. We got softball too. We've got some new coaches in the SWAC. Shout out to Cherie Lindsay, new volleyball coach at Prairie View A&M. Yeah, and make sure y'all pray for G and the Alcorn State baseball team. They on 6 right now, but we're gonna pray they get them a win sooner or later. But look, that's what's your dark horse? Dark horse in the West. I don't want to be biased and say SU because SU I was picking, but if I'm not picking SU, I'm thinking Grambling because Grambling's 5-1 right now, second in the West. Grambling got some decent hitters, like I said, Keelan Mack, Cameron Buford, all got power, and they have some decent pitching. You know, if the ball goes a certain way, it could go in Grambling's favor. I haven't seen PV in person yet, but I'm just looking at their record and saying they're a decent team right now. But like I said, it's early in the season, so it's kind of hard to tell. But right now, I'm gonna go with Grambling out the West as a dark horse. And when you say dark horse, I hope you mean like a surprise going into the SWAC tournament. But like I said, SWAC tournament get a little crazy, get a little iffy, and coaches try to game plan. Sometimes their game plans don't work out in their favor. Are there any serious pro prospects in SWAC HBCU baseball? Yes, pray for G. All corners on 6 in baseball right now. Yeah, Hunter Veets from FAMU. I talked to a Major League Baseball coach last year, and they said his name was on a lot of people's list. I think Cameron Buford at one time was on a lot of people's list from Grambling. I'm not too familiar with the Bethune guys, but I'm sure they got a couple. Jackson State, Ty Hill. He's definitely a Major League Baseball prospect. Let's see from Southern. Southern's leadoff hitter, Armstrong. He could possibly be a Major League Baseball prospect. Good speed, got a very high batting average. At one time, I'm sure O'Neal Burgos, who bats there for Southern, plays first base, was a good power hitting prospect. I know he struggled this year a little bit with batting average, so we'll see as the season goes by. Um, I think not Prairie View. If Grambling does have a guy who throws 97, 98, then I'm sure he's a major league prospect too. Because if you're throwing that hard, then you should be getting drafted regardless. Um, let's see who Alabama State. I don't know. I know FAMU got Jared Weaver too. He's a good hitter too. He might be a major league baseball prospect. So it's a few guys. I'm gonna have to follow with my connect and see what names that are coming out the SWAC as far as MLB draft. Appreciate it. This jacket was made by the AL Collection. Um, Make sure y'all go to alcollection.com. I think that's where you can buy them. I did see they posted some FAMU jackets. So I think they call the satin bomber jackets right here. Yeah, I know they got FAMU. I know they have Southern. I'm not sure who else they have, but yeah, man, it's definitely a fire jacket. It's getting a little too hot, and I haven't got a chance to wear it. So I wore it today, and then I wore it on the flight this past weekend. So yeah, man, make sure y'all go support the AL Collection. Yeah, y'all got any more questions, comments? I'm just kind of excited about the rest of the season. I'm watching Southern and McNeese right now. It's 5-9, bottom of the 7th. I don't think Southern has a quality midweek win this year yet, so I think a lot of the Jaguar Nation is waiting on it. Are there other leagues for our players outside of Major League Baseball that can afford our players a decent living? Not really a baseball guy, but may try to get my son involved outside of Major League Baseball. If you're talking about the pros, I mean, there's AAA, there's single A, there's double A, there's rookie ball. However, I mean, I think those contracts depend on where the person is drafted. And so you might have a guy who's making $1 million a year and he's roommates with a guy who probably makes 50,000 a year. So I mean, it's definitely room. It just depends where you get drafted. Now they do have independent leagues, like in these smaller towns. Back where I'm from, Alexandria, Louisiana, we had the Aces who played in the Texas Baseball League, something like that. But those were minor league guys who basically played for minimum wage. I couldn't tell you how much, maybe like $30,000 a year, some contracts like that. Basically having to pay for their housing and pay for their food, or even roommate with their teammates, stuff like that. So a decent living, from my expectations, I would say no. The only way would be to go through Major League Baseball right now. And then they had that crazy league over there in Georgia with the Savannah Bananas. I'm not sure how much those guys make, but that's another avenue. But I mean, let me try to get my son. I mean, if your son is like still like grade school age, I would definitely get him involved as early as possible because baseball is not a sport where you can just play. I mean, you see a lot of guys that start playing football late, like high school, junior high level, or basketball. They start playing late like that. But in baseball, like if you're really not playing at the age of 9 or 10, then it's probably not even worth it because a lot of that development comes early on T-ball, like from ages 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm sure if you ask anybody who played baseball, they'll probably tell you that same age range. So if he's of that age, I would definitely get him involved, regardless of if you're worried about the decent living or not, because you never know. A lot of players develop into something real good, into millionaires that can set up for their set up for their family. Some guy who's starting for the St. Louis Cardinals opening day, he's only 20 years old. So yeah, you just never know what could happen. Try different stuff other than basketball. Yeah, I definitely will get him in T-ball. If not, get him a tee at home. Get him a baseball bat, obviously baseballs, and maybe a little net so he can hit in it. And like I said, that is the fundamental building block of hitting for baseball, regardless. And then even the professionals right now use tees to practice with. Back when we were in high school, we would rather hit on the tees than hit on the field. So I mean, that's what helped us. That's what got down our form, our swing, and those different avenues. So yeah, I definitely would get them started early. Um, because the older you get, some people get pushed away from baseball. Number one, you get paid millions of dollars to fail 70% of the time. If you look at some of the batting averages, I was saying, uh, guys are batting 300, so they're failing 70% of the time, but that's actually good. So a lot of the black community don't like baseball because it's a slow sport, it's a boring sport, and it's a lot of failures, and we don't like to fail. We like to succeed quick, like fast money. I'm doing the golfing route. Yeah, I've been playing golf too. I ain't playing in a couple of weeks, but I plan on going this weekends. Shout out to Southern, they just got a golf team, so they'll be starting this year. Um, and yeah, we'll be covering golf too as soon as they start uh, playing. Golf is a sport too that's just aggravating. It just can't seem to get right. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. GSPN don't fail, so I can't play baseball. Yeah, I think that's G. Uh, where are you watching McNeese game? The McNeese game is on your ESPN app. So I think I saw Southern Grambling is playing LSU, so that's on the app, and then Prairie View is playing Incarnate Word on the ESPN app. If any of y'all were curious. Well, it's baseball a hard game to watch. I hate watching Major League Baseball. Like it's so boring on TV, especially. Now, if you go to a real game, I went to Yankee Stadium last year. I've been to a few ballparks around the country: Cincinnati, St. Louis, Houston, Dallas. Uh, can't remember other, but it's a good experience in person. On TV, oh my gosh, it's so boring. I'd rather watch college baseball. It seemed like the fans are a little bit more into it, and things of that nature. So that's one of the main reasons why you probably don't see a lot of black people playing baseball. It's not that flashy like basketball. I mean, if you watch the McDonald's Slam Dunk competition yesterday, it was a lot of cameras, a lot of people in the stands, and just big time young athletes everywhere. And baseball is not like that. They have now it kind of is because a lot of the cameras come around and these showcases and travel teams, but not as much as the other sports like football. I'm training my daughter for NASCAR. Yeah, that's a good opportunity too. I want to say Alabama A&M or some SWAC school has a partnership with NASCAR, where they are teaching them how to become the pit crew. I know there's a few HBCU students from HBCUs that are in NASCAR and are working as pit crew people for certain drivers. I actually know a few lawyers that work for NASCAR as some of their senior counsel. So NASCAR is definitely giving back to the black community. So I know you put a laughing face, but NASCAR is definitely trying to promote the black community into the NASCAR lifestyle. So I've been to one MLB game, but it was way better in person. Went to Cardinals game. Yeah, St. Louis is definitely a wave. I love that game. It's right there downtown by the river, and they had a St. Louis live right out there. It's probably one of the few things St. Louis does have in the city. But I definitely love that game. It's definitely a good atmosphere. Something everybody should experience. It's fun playing, but it's like watching molasses. Yeah, I play every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I get my fix every week. Playing my home farm or Alcorn, doing that for Alcorn. Yeah, I think I may have saw somebody from Alcorn doing it. Uh, we might have to get one of them on the show and interview them, because I do see a lot of more of the black community interested in NASCAR. I see a lot of people posting on Facebook and even the Formula One too. Y'all, shout out to G, man. He made the thumbnail for the show today. He he getting his graphic design on. And we get him to learn that Adobe Photoshop or whatever, man, it's gonna be on and popping on Swac'N the Fool for sure. We need a kickball professional league. I'm sure they got a kickball professional league somewhere. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they got one somewhere. Any more questions? Any more comments? Any thoughts on the season so far? Excuse me. Yeah, I think when I was out there, the Blues had just won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, they're a big time team out there. So ever since the Rams went away, I think St. Louis had to go toward other sports as far as getting they fix. No, we need to have a dodgeball game for everybody in the SWAC groups. Graham about to rally. Let me turn to it then. Like I said, man, Graham could be a dark horse. It's midweek. Um, let me see what's going. Oh, C3 line. It's 15-3 right now. 6 inning. Yeah, ain't no coming back from that. Got me changing channels and stuff. Any more comments, questions? No kickball, but we gonna argue about what city is here then. Oh yeah. Who your top contenders for the swag? My top contenders right now are definitely FAMU Bethune. I'm gonna go FAMU and Bethune right now. Alabama State in third place. FAMU and Bethune, they tearing it up in the swag. They tearing it up, and I can't even lie. And they play each other this weekend, so we go see who a pretender and who a contender. So I think this weekend is gonna tell a lot. Even though the SWAC tournament just get tricky, it get weird, man. Some strange things happen, and the ball bounces a certain way, and somebody else end up winning. Don't put it in Birmingham. Yeah, don't put it in Birmingham. Don't put it in Birmingham. Yeah, but put it in BR. I think BR is a better place, or New Orleans. Yeah, look, man, fam, you might be in the drop seat right now. But like I said, as the SWAC tournament goes on, your options for pitching gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and that's the real puzzle piece that every coach has to figure out. Who are you going to rely on late in the tournament when you've used your best guy? When you don't have Hunter Beats or you don't have was it Nolan Santos who just pitched for Bethune? When you don't have those guys because they already pitched 2 days ago, you have to rely on your usual Sunday guy or maybe your midweek guy, and hopefully they can take you throughout the game. Or you might have a game plan and use what they call Johnny Whole staff pitching, where you use a bunch of guys in one game. We need an alumni flag football team for all SWAC alumni. I think they still got it. Whew. Same for hoops and baseball scrimmage. Oh man, that baseball scrimmage would be a sight to see. Then we can have Ricky Weeks out there. Well, we gonna play kickball in BR. We can play kickball in Glen Oaks. For sure. All right, y'all. I'm finna hang up. Look, make sure y'all go subscribe, follow us. Me, G, J Max, we gonna be on here soon for recap for baseball and of course these spring games too. So yeah, once again, this boy Al from Swac'N the Fool. I'm signing out.